All right, welcome to the Snowflake Sports Podcast. I am joined by Green Bay Packer fan Fritz Kaltenbach. I hope I got that right. How you doing, Fritz?
I am doing fantastic, Dan. Yeah. I'm sick and I still feel great.
I bet you do. And he is coming off of a great win. What was it, 28-23?
Yes, sir.
Packers Seahawks win. All right, I'm just going to give you the floor to let you lay down your opinions on this game.
So this is what I love about this new team is at the end of the game, first off, they dominated the Seahawks. I don't care what the score says. They had a couple plays where, like a couple big plays. It's the story of the Packers all year long is they shut offenses down, but they let up big plays, and that's really what happened. And they press. I think it was like over 50% of Russell Wilson's dropbacks. He was pressured. He was running all over the place, and nobody does a better job of that than Russell Wilson in like making plays. He was their offense, and he's the only reason they even had a chance in that game. I think somebody interviewed Preston Smith after the game, and he said it was like chasing a chicken without a fence.
Yeah.
But to be clear, this defense is real. And I know everybody saw Zadarius Smith sack Russell Wilson, then pull up that shirt about getting snubbed. I just want everybody to know, not only, I think I've said this on this podcast before, was he the number one PFF double-teamed edge rusher in the league and also had the highest pressure rating in the league. He also had the most pressure, he did have the highest pressure rating in the league. He had the most pressures and the most sacks created.
Wait, so was he not All-Pro?
No, he was not All-Pro, and he was not a Pro Bowler.
Chandler Jones, really? That's okay. I'm with you on that, but keep going.
Yeah. He got major snubbed. Also, shout out to Aaron Jones, who's honestly just a black small step down from Christian McCaffrey. There's not a lot different. Like, if you go look at their numbers, Christian McCaffrey's a little bit better, but Aaron Jones led the league in rushing touchdowns and all-purpose touchdowns this year, and he's not getting any credit for it. But like I said, the only reason that the Seahawks were even in that game was because of Russell Wilson. And I'm honestly kind of upset that they didn't go with the game plan that I wanted them to, where they had two quarterbacks that matched up perfectly with the two receivers. You have a quick, small, agile receiver in Tyler Lockett, and basically the mirror of that in Jair Alexander, and then you have a big, strong receiver that has trouble changing direction in DK Metcalf, and a big, tall cornerback that has trouble changing direction in Kevin King. And every single time I saw them drop back, they were swapped, and I don't understand it. I really don't get why. I wish Kevin King had gotten that interception. I don't know how he ended up with 5 this season, because it feels like he's dropped 4.
Yeah.
But they showed out this game. I was expecting them to beat them by a lot more, because they had advantages just about everywhere in that game, and maybe not receiver. They have Devontae, but other than that, all they really have is Allen Lazard. And to people who say, I keep hearing this narrative from the broadcasters that there isn't a definitive number 2 on the Packers team. It's Allen Lazard, and it's not even close. Allen Lazard this year has gained Rodgers' trust immensely. On third downs this season, disregarding last game, because I saw the stat last week, he is, I think, 11 for 16 for 116 yards and a touchdown on third downs. Rodgers trusts this kid, and he's good. And he just consistently shows up in high-pressure situations. I really hope he's okay. He had a little bit of an ankle injury during the game. But what I took back most from this game is that this is why we got all these guys in the offseason. This is why we got a new coach, and this is why we changed the culture. Because I know every single Packers fan going into this game no matter, we had every advantage you could think of, and not a single Packers fan was 100% confident going into this game because of the tragic fucking losses we've had against Seattle, whether it be the Hail Mary or the worst blown comeback game I've ever seen in my entire life in the NFC Championship game in 2014. Mm-hmm. And when you saw them, like, when they got the ball back with, what was it, like 3 minutes and some change
I think it was
back?
like 4.
Yeah. Russell Wilson with the ball with that much time left, every single Packers fan watching that game was panicked.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between this team and the old team. Is the old team, they would have let them score. And then this team came in, Preston Smith sacked the living shit out of Russell Wilson, and we went in and finished that game. And that's what I love about this team. Is they're different. They know how to step on the throat. They have a little trouble, putting 4 quarters together. Sometimes they do ease up, but they played up to what I don't like about this team so much is that they play to the level of their opponent.
Like the Seahawks.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Like the Seahawks, they almost beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
But then
they did too. They beat them the first game.
They did, exactly. But then they lose to like the Cardinals, who are
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the Packers almost lose to Detroit because they thought that they were just going to roll over.
Oh,
and then right? And then everybody was worried going into that game, and I'm like, listen, they admitted, like they said out straight. I think Alan Lazard was interviewed, and he said, we thought that they were just going to roll over, and that was on us, and we should have come out with more intensity. And I think they had the same, like, laissez-faire, or blase, sorry. Like, I know.
It's okay. You're sick.
Like,
fine.
that fucking, like, we don't give a shit mentality going into the 49ers game. So many of the Packers have come forward and said that they were not mentally ready for that game, and I expect a completely different game. There was one other thing. Oh yeah. I want to be very clear about this because I keep seeing memes about it and a bunch of other people complaining about it on social media. Stop crying about that first down that Jimmy Graham caught.
Right? I agree.
Because that remember when the ref came in and said we found extra information that proved that it wasn't a first down? That's because there's photos to prove this, that the yellow line projected on the field was off. And even when I was watching the game, you could see it moving, like it was not being projected correctly. But on that play, you can see the line is about like a foot further than it should be in the direction of the goal line. So Jimmy Graham definitely had the first down. And I said this on my social media, and I think I tweeted this out or something, but like, again, to all the Seahawks fans that are crying, what do we want to talk about right now? Do we want to talk about the fact that the yellow line was moved, or do we want to talk about the fact that they had that fumble that was clearly recovered, that they didn't say that they did recover? Or do we want to talk about when Rodgers got his head almost decapitated with the fucking head tackle when he ran out to the sideline that didn't get called? Or do we want to talk about how Jadeveon Clowney didn't get ejected for hitting Carson Wentz in the back of the head and missing a game? Because there are reports saying that Carson Wentz had trouble sitting down and had memory loss from that hit. Or do we want to talk about the Hail Mary? Like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear about everybody crying. You guys lost all 3 of your running backs. You were too damaged to win the game. I'm sorry. It sucks. But, like, you lost. That's not a controversy. It's over. Like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to backtrack a bit, and I'm going to disagree with you on Aaron Jones being Christian McCaffrey, because looking at the stats of this game, he had 1 reception for 4 yards. Like, I just think Christian McCaffrey would have, like, 10 and, like, 150.
Well, that's because the Panthers don't have a Devontae Adams.
Right, and they have that Allen.
And they have Kyle Allen,
yeah. Bad. Okay, that's fair, but, like, I don't know, just looking at his stats, he ran for 62 yards, and he did get 2 touchdowns, and he was important, but it's just like,
I mean, he had 4 touchdowns against the Cowboys.
Right, but like the Cowboys weren't that great. Like I don't know. They kind of fell apart second half of the season, which I guess the Packers played them in the first half, so that's a statement for them. All right, I think you pretty much nailed the nail on the head. Whatever, fuck it. For the Packers side, I'm going to come more from the Seahawks standpoint and just say that, like, I don't think that Pete Carroll should be fired or something, but he should be, like, reprimanded with how this team, like, plays and just, like...
why don't they let Russell Wilson throw the ball?
Right, it makes no sense. Like, they get down.
You lost all of your running backs.
Yeah.
Let him throw.
And they just
let him scramble.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so frustrating watching this team and just being like, we're going to run 3 times and punt it because, like, we're fucking idiots. And they get down, 21-3, 20... Was it 28?
Against the Eagles, they rushed 17 times for 19 yards. I think in 2 games they had, like, 54 rushing yards.
Yeah. But they keep trying. Like, it makes no sense, and it's just, like, it's fucking awful. And then, like, when they get down...
DK Metcalf on your team,
right?
And Tyler Lockett, who is a legit receiver.
Yeah, and there's just like a spiritual connection between Wilson and Lockett. Like, you just can't describe it because you watch the replay.
I mean, it's like Rodgers and Jordy. Like it's
exactly. So it's just like you can't see the window when you watch the replay, and it's just like they know where to go, and it's wild.
But Russell, how many times has Russell proven over and over again that he is a top-tier quarterback?
Oh, absolutely.
And by the way, Russell's the MVP. I don't give a shit about what Lamar did this year. Russell's the MVP. When you have, 12 Pro Bowlers on your team? I mean, yeah, he was fantastic this year, but without Russell Wilson, the Seahawks are a dog shit, like, bottom feeder, top 5 pick team.
Yeah.
They don't really have it. They have Jadeveon Clowney and... Who else? Who else is a stud on that team?
Well, and
Jadeveon Clowney's not that great either.
I think
just started coming up.
I think DK, you got DK and Tyler Lockett are great.
But also that would rely on Russell Wilson's connection too.
Yeah, right. And then I think Chris Carson good. His problem is just like fumbling the ball, like
true. Yeah.
And so what I didn't get to. So they're doing. So they get the ball back with like 5 minutes to go, right, in the fourth quarter, and they like do a 3 and out, and they punt it. Like, what are you doing? Like, trying to take the game to them? Like, why are you going to give the ball back to Aaron Rodgers? Like, and I know they got 2 punts, like, out of it before, but like your defense isn't that great, and it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, what? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think Pete Carroll should be fired because there's so many bad coaches in the NFL that like he is competent and they can like somewhat win, but like. They need to do something, like get a new OC or just change their offense, or like I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the offensive coordinator. The defense has been fine. Like the defense
for what talent they have.
Yeah, seriously.
So, well, I guess Diggs is pretty good too. That
Diggs is really good. That was a huge pickup for them.
Yeah.
And then how do you not love the Griffin brothers?
Right.
That sack that they had together. That was such a cool moment, dude.
Yeah,
anybody who's a fan of football loved seeing that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. All right, now let's move to the Titans-Ravens game, which I guess...
By the way...
What?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Quick thing. So, Christian McCaffrey this year, rushing yards had 1,387 to Aaron Jones's... What is it? 1084, and then Aaron Jones had for receiving yards. Let's see, had 474 to Christians. I mean, 1005.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying. He's great. Like dual threat running back,
but they're also more dependent on him, and
True.
Eric Jones also had more touchdowns. So when you have more weapons, obviously you're not going to see the ball much. I mean,
wait, didn't you just say they don't have more weapons? They have Alan Lazar's their second wide receiver.
No,
and it took forever for them to find it.
Adams and Jimmy Graham,
right? But Jimmy Graham also hasn't played well this season, except this game. Like he had a revenge game this game, but he wasn't.
Yeah, I know, but with Rodgers, you're going to throw it, you know?
Right, but you could also throw it to your running back. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it. Those are fair arguments. Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah, moving on, Titans-Ravens. I'm just going to say, I don't think I was as shocked at this game as everyone else was. I felt like I've always been up on this team. Not in any way that they are a game away from the Super Bowl, but like their defense is great. Like Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler are premier cornerbacks. Like Rashad Evans is a great linebacker. And like basically once they started Ryan Tannehill, they've been on like an upward trend. Like so much.
I want to agree with everything that you said except for the fact that Malcolm Butler is a premier cornerback. I still don't see it. He's good. That's all he'll ever be.
So do you like Logan Ryan more than Malcolm Butler?
I definitely like Logan Ryan more.
That's fair.
Logan Ryan's way better. But I think Malcolm Butler's been overrated since his famous play. I remember
fair.
I will always remember the very next game, the first game of the season following was the Patriots against the Steelers, and they lined him up against Antonio Brown, and AB went 8 for 9 for $160, and the commentators were like, yo, he's really holding his own against Antonio. I'm like, he's getting burned on every single play.
Yeah.
And the only one that AB didn't catch was an overthrow. He caught everything, and I would watch every single game that he plays, and he got smoked. And people were talking about how it was like Richard Sherman all over again, only worse.
Hey,
when Richard Sherman, listen,
second team All Pro this year. So
yeah, for Malcolm Butler?
No, for Sherman.
For Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
I never thought Richard Sherman was bad. But when Richard Sherman said, I'm the best corner in the league, and then everybody crowned him as the best corner in the league when Darrelle Revis and Pat Pete were Darrelle Revis was just about to leave his prime, and then Pat Pete was still incredible. And there were a handful of other good cornerbacks in the league, and I didn't see it. And he stuck to the same side. He wouldn't travel with the number one receiver, and I don't know. And everybody crowned him.
He shut down that side. When you shut down half of the field by yourself, you deserve.
I know, but Pat Pete could do it on both sides.
I guess. Yeah, I need to look at the stats, and I don't watch the Cardinals enough to be yeah, Patrick Peterson's the man, So.
Oh, that was great when they had it was him. That was the year that the Cardinals were good with him and Tyrann Mathieu.
Oh, right.
And
was that
when they beat the Packers?
That crazy Fitzgerald catch, right?
Yeah. I don't want to talk.
Yeah. Let's go back to the game. The Ravens Titans one.
Yeah.
But
I got to say, going into the game, I thought it was going to be a blowout, and then the second they scored on the first drive, I thought back to something I had heard initially, and it was earlier in the year, the two games that they lost to the Browns, and who was the other team that they lost to?
I don't remember. I'll look that up while you're talking. But.
The other team they lost to, they got down, were the only games they got down early. And that team is not built to play down. Does that make sense? They're a run team. They're built to get up on you early and then shut you down defensively and bleed the clock, which is what they did all year long. But the games where they got behind, they did not respond well. Even with the 49ers, they struggled with them because the 49ers were sticking in it the whole time.
So they lost to the Chiefs week 3, right before.
Exactly.
So
it's the Chiefs. It's the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah, right. That's reasonable.
So the second that happened, I was like, oh my, wait a minute, they might actually do this.
Yeah.
So before the game, I did not give them a chance. But the second they scored that touchdown, I was like, hold up, something might happen right now. Because Ryan Tannehill has been playing historically good over the past 7 weeks.
Yeah. Before the postseason. He's been amazing.
Yeah, the 6 weeks before the postseason was I think he had the best QBR in that time span in the history of the NFL or something like that. Was stupid.
Yeah.
Also, Ryan Tannehill, highest drafted quarterback in the playoffs right now.
Right. Wait, when was he drafted? Did I forget?
I mean, his pick in the first round was higher than
Mahomes.
Mahomes, Rodgers, and
Jimmy G was
obviously.
What, third round or something? Like, I don't know.
I think he was fourth.
Yeah. I think mostly this game though is like no one in the world wants to tackle Derrick Henry outside of like Aaron Donald, and like the whole Earl Thomas thing where he was making fun of him and he just like gets turned around.
He turned him into a lead blocker.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Did you see him in the after game interview?
No.
He was talking to who I think it was like Aaron Andrews, somebody, whoever the woman interviewing him after the game. He was talking to him, and he started responding. And out of the corner of your eye, you could see like behind the camera, he must have saw Earl Thomas because like he just cut off immediately. He was like, "Yeah, good shit, Earl." And then,
that's great. That's awesome. Did you Did you see? I forgot who introduced him, but like. You know how Mark Ingram does like the funny things before, and he introduced Lamar Jackson.
Tajay Sharp.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
That was great. I love that.
When you're just in those situations, man, you just got to capitalize.
Yeah,
because they were so cocky coming into that game.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
I mean, for good reason, but like, come on.
I mean, when you're talking about Ryan Tannehill, like when you look at the Ravens' offense, like for Pro Football Focus, it's like the best. In like every stat, like they're one of the top 10 offenses like ever, basically. When you look at the stats,
honestly, dude, like when you look at their roster, the majority of the talent's on the defense, in my opinion.
Which is wild because they lost like 4.
They got Hollywood, Marshall Yanda, Lamar Jackson, and Mark Ingram. I think. Mark Andrews is going to be just a guy on every other team.
Yeah.
Maybe like pretty good. He might be like a Tyler Eifert or something. But like they use 2 other tight ends pretty frequently. So like how good can this guy be? I think Lamar just picked him. I mean, he's a safety blanket. He's a tight end. And he's like, this is going to be my guy. Whenever I can't run or like my first read is open, I'm just going to look for the big guy. So and I mean, when everybody's constantly just focused on Lamar, of course, this guy's just going to be open all the time. But, like, they really only have, like, 4 studs on offense, whereas their defense, holy shit. Not to mention, like, all of the people that the defense let go, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Zadarius Smith and C.J. Mosley and Terrell Suggs, who, by the way, I did not know switched from the Cardinals to the Chiefs. Good for him.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I saw him in the game, and I was like,
oh yeah.
Fuck. He's actually...
That Bears game, I was like, Suggs.
Yeah.
Like, okay. This is a while back, but now I just remember that. But yeah, that's
he's
crazy.
Like the only, like, 5 people that's still that's in the NFL Street 2 game that's still playing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, then one other thing is just the Titans being able to stop the Ravens on 4th and short was just incredible.
That was, honestly, dude... I'm going to be saying the same thing about Bill O'Brien, but like John Harbaugh, stop coaching with your dick, dude. Like you guys were on your own like 40.
Yeah, but it worked like all year. Like Bill O'Brien,
get it, but like you just got. I mean, like
they were 8 for 8 on 4th and 1.
You also have a stellar defense,
right? So
and I understand that. I understand, but like. Situational football, that is why Bill Belichick is the GOAT. Because situationally, he's never, no matter how good Tom Brady is at QB sneaks, if they're on their own like 40 or 39, he's not doing that.
Well, what was that 4th and 2 when they played the Colts? Like, I don't think this is a playoff game, so that's probably why. They like basically started this, where it's like, we're going to go for it on 4th down. And I think they were
There's no way they were in their own territory.
They were. I'm pretty sure that they were like on their own 40. And then like the Colts got the ball. I don't know if they were down. No, they definitely weren't down because it would have made more sense. They were up, and then like the Colts got the ball and then scored a touchdown and won the game.
Okay, well if they were up, even still that's bonkers to me. But if you're trying to come back, that gives a little bit more. I mean, if you're up, that it gives you a little bit more wiggle room, but like it was the first quarter. They were only down by a touchdown. Why would you give it to the other team
when you're 8 for 8 during the regular season?
I know, but like if you don't get it, you're giving the team basically a field goal, because if you don't get it on your own 40, the other team really realistically has only like 5 yards to go for like a long field goal.
I guess I don't know. I'm so with analytics and just being all stats.
I get that, and I get that they've done it before, but it was also the regular season. Like, play it safe in the postseason unless it's really, really important. Yeah, and I mean, I get like, you know, there are situations where you don't want to do that. Like, I don't know, like the Mike McCarthy got a lot of criticism. I mean, just, you know, I'm a Packers fan, so I know this. He got a lot of criticism for like stepping on the gas pedal early and then getting conservative when they're all winning, just trying to not lose the game. That's something you don't want to do, but in situations like that, that's not enough reward for the risk. It's getting a first down at the beginning of the game to get to like when you're not even anywhere near field goal range, just to get the first down, when if you don't get it, you're basically giving the other team a score. And they went right down and scored another touchdown. Like, and then they're down 2 touchdowns, and then they're shocked, and they're a team that's not built to come back. So
yeah, I guess.
With I think was Mark Ingram injured at that point?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he came into the game with some stuff. And then he tried it
injured.
Yeah.
But.
So I don't know. You're already hampered, and you're down. And I don't know. I would trust my Pro Bowl stacked defense to try and make a stop somewhere within the like 90 yards that they were probably going to have to go if they had punted it, because they have the best special teams. Well, I mean, kicking wise in the league, at least with Justin Tucker. I mean, Cook is pretty damn good too, but I don't know. I mean, kudos to the Titans to doing it. Like, if there's a team I do not want to try and stop on 4th and 1, it is the Ravens. But I mean, they got a good front line. Terrell Casey's a beast. He's a big dude.
I guess, yeah. I was gonna say I completely disagree, but we got to move on. Just to cover everything. So Texans Chiefs, that was a wild game. And
I like that, dude. Sunday should have been National Go Hug a Texans Fan Day. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're up 24-0. Like everything's going your way.
They
get a blocked punt for a touchdown.
Dude, they punched Kansas City in the mouth like a good. Like they got like 3 haymakers right in the fucking sucker, and then the Chiefs turned the dial up to what I can only imagine is called Berserker God mode, and they just rained fire on the Texans.
Yeah,
and it sucks, dude, because I love J.J. Watt, and you want to see him get a Super Bowl because he fucking deserves it, and to beat that team would have been so sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I felt bad, but, like, this is Bill O'Brien. And I guess it's not really Bill O'Brien's fault, because, I mean, he's not the one that fumbles a kickoff return that basically changed the game.
That, dude, once that happened, the game was over. Yeah. Like, it was your one chance to really, like, stop the bleeding, and, oh, God, it was so sad watching, because they came out and they scored more points than any Texans team had ever scored in like the first quarter of a playoff game. In the whole season too.
Well, I mean, are you talking? This is Texans,
their best,
right?
Yeah, so, it was their best first quarter of the entire season.
Right, but like they started 2003 or 2000?
No, I mean just this year.
Oh, okay.
But still, like you were playing the best game you've played all year at the perfect time against the team to do it against, and then. I don't know what happened with their offense, but their defense just gave up, and Patrick Mahomes went crazy, and then you could just see it on O'Brien's face, like you knew he was gonna just start playing scared and conservatively, and it's exactly what he just crumbled like he always does, and that's a guy that does not deserve a head coaching job.
Oh, I disagree. I think he's fine. They've won 4 divisional.
They have so much talent, though, dude.
Right. No, so what they need is a GM. They need to not have Bill O'Brien as the GM and the head coach, because that's just stupid, and that's what happened with all these dumbass trades in the beginning of the season. But if you win 4 out of the 5, I don't care how good your team is, like, you're doing a good job. And, like, yeah, maybe the division isn't great, but, like, now you got the Titans, like, going to the...
Yeah, but, like, when you could, like, hire a guy like Eric Bieniemy and take him from the Chiefs as your head coach instead of Bill Bryan, who has gotten you to the playoffs and then come up short in high price. Dude, when they lose in the playoffs, they lose hard every time. They always lose badly.
Yeah.
In tragic form, every single year.
I don't know. I compare this team and I compare it to like Portland, where it's just like, yeah, we make the playoffs, like we might make a run, but we're gonna get killed by the Warriors. Like, the Houston's just gonna get killed by the Chiefs or by the Pats or by the Steelers, whoever it is that year.
I know, but like with that quarterback and those receivers, they should be way better.
Right, but their defenses. I mean, you got J.J. Watt, who was hurt all year, which does not help. But like, who else is on this defense? Like, I can't name another player.
Well, John Joseph. He's pretty good.
Okay.
But you're right. They don't have a lot of... Whitney Merciless. And,
yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He had that strip of Josh
Benardrick McKinney.
Okay. Oh, they have Tyrann... Oh, no. That's...
They had Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah. And they
gave him to the Chiefs. And then that really kind of...
Well, I guess Roby's okay, too. I don't love him. I don't hate him.
They got some guys.
But not really, though. Like, you can't stop the Chiefs with this defense, which we clearly saw.
Yeah.
And then one thing, just like, I'm kind of stealing this from, like, the Bill Simmons podcast that I heard earlier this week.
Sure.
But, like, the main difference between Mahomes and Jackson this weekend was just their leadership qualities. Like, Lamar looked like in shock, and he was just about to, like, shit his pants or something when they got down. But, like, Patrick Mahomes was just, like, pumped and amped. Like, he was, like, basically looked like...
It's like, oh, yeah, we're down 20... We're down 27 or something? 23?
24.
No, 24.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's, like, pumping everyone up. Like, I guess it's just a personality difference, because he's just, like, more outspoken, I assume, from watching his...
Well, actually, if there was somebody I would credit that to on the team, it would definitely be Travis Kelce.
Right, yeah.
Like, if you got like a hype man on your team, that's that guy. He's like, you can always see him like dancing on the sidelines, like screaming and hyping shit up. He's always like taunting when he's with his touchdown celebrations and shit. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, but like I think Mahomes was more like pumping them up, but giving them like not like criticism, but just being like more conservative or not conservative.
Just like no guys, don't worry.
Yeah,
we got this.
Yeah, exactly.
We got the firepower. We can like. It took them 3 minutes to get back in the game.
Yeah,
scored like 3 touchdowns in 3 minutes.
How are you down 24-0? You take the lead at halftime. Like how do you do that? It's just wild. And then we'll get into the predictions later. But I guess just to wrap up with the Vikings 49ers, the least surprising game of this weekend. Which I don't think it was terrible, but just like compared to the other 3 games, it was by far the worst one.
No, I mean like you have a run dominant team going up against the Great Wall of China. Like,
yeah,
dude,
pretty much.
That D-line alone is going to win. If they win the Super Bowl, it's because of the D-line. It's not because of Jimmy G. It's not because of Richard Sherman. It's because they have Solomon Thomas, who was like the 3rd overall pick, on their bench. Like, it's him, DeForest Buckner, Bosa, Eric Armstead, D Ford, Aquan Alexander, Fred Warner, and then they got just some guys playing secondary that somehow have been coached up incredibly, besides Richard Sherman, who was getting smoked by Marquise Goodwin like a year ago in practice. I don't know how he has come back from an Achilles tear injury.
Yeah, that old too.
Still playing. That's he like. The only other person to ever do that is Steve Smith. Every other person who's torn their Achilles, career over.
Yeah.
Like,
especially like as a corner, you need your tendons so much to like turn and like be on your toes.
Yeah, that's
like
it's
incredible.
so impressive for him. I don't know if it's just because, I mean, granted, like, you can also credit it to the D line. Like, if you're only giving him like a second and a half to cover a guy, yeah, he's, probably not going to get open. No, so, I mean, I'd like to see how he would play if he didn't have, 5 first, like, top 5 overall picks on their front line, or however good they all are. Like, they drafted D-line over and over and over again in, like, the top 10 of the draft for, like, 5 years straight, and then they got D Ford and Quan Alexander, and, like, their front 7, including the people on their bench, is disgusting.
Did you even include Bosa? I don't think you did.
Yeah. He's just as good as everybody else thought he would be.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he looks like Blake Griffin.
Yeah, a little bit. He's got a similar haircut. The problem with like football players, especially like defensive players, I don't really know what they look like unless I like follow or see something stupid on Twitter, which I haven't really seen from him, even though he's a douchebag MAGA guy. But like, I just haven't seen him like I don't know, like Gronk at like some club doing some stupid thing. Like I haven't seen that. What was weird about this game though is like I thought Minnesota would be kind of in it because like they still beat the Saints. And the Saints are like one of the most talented teams in the NFL.
Have you talked to anybody on this podcast about the Saints game?
Yeah, so I talked to my cousin. You mean like with the pass interference thing at the end? Or?
No, with like last week with the Vikings.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about that.
All right, good. Did you see all this the shit with Michael Thomas?
No, what like?
So Michael Thomas went to Twitter and was like, yeah, that's what you get, and like, cry laughing emoji, and like he was just tweeting mad shit at the Vikings for losing to the Saints or to the 49ers. Like, dude, shut up! You're on your couch. Like, you lost to Kirk Cousins.
I guess, but like he had one of the
I get it.
best seasons as a wide receiver.
He did, and then they choked. So
is that on him though? I don't think it's
kinda yeah.
I mean, it's kind of their defense.
He's one of, if not the best player on the team.
Right, but like, I mean, Drew Brees got to throw to him more, I guess. Like, I don't know. I think it was more their defense though. They let Kirk Cousins kind of, and I guess Drew Brees threw that pick in the second or the end of the first half, and then the Vikings went down and scored a touchdown. That was huge. So,
also, just quick thing, I'd like to point this out. Why does Drew Brees not get the same criticisms that Aaron Rodgers does in regards to not winning more?
Yeah, I didn't think about that until I saw that tweet, and I was like, ooh, that's kind of
because it's like such a parallel, and they've played with more talent and better coaching, and he's got one Super Bowl and less playoff and less Super Bowl. I mean, not less Super Bowl appearances, but he's gotten to the NFC Championship less, and he has no MVPs.
MVP's kind of bullshit, though. But I guess not as a quarterback. But, like, not having an MVP is not that big a deal.
I know, and statistically, Rodgers' stats are better. I think it's, honestly, I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that he's played longer and has these longevity, records that if Rodgers plays as long as he will break. And
yeah, but like if Mahomes also plays, like he'll break his.
Again, Mahomes will also shatter it, and then who knows how good Joe Burrow is going to be? But like,
right.
I honestly I think it's because he's like who doesn't like Drew Brees, whereas Aaron Rodgers gets painted as a diva, which I can understand to a point, but I also still haven't really gotten, because he's a pretty like soft-spoken guy. He just had a shitty coach and he wanted a different coach. And
yeah, but like Drew Brees is huge with like the armed forces, and like he's big with New Orleans. Like, New Orleans is a huge city. Like Rodgers plays in Green Bay, and just like I know this isn't Rodgers' fault, and it's like all Rodgers' family's fault, but the falling out with that was just kind of weird. You know?
Do you know what happened with that?
Not exactly, but
so his family did not approve of him dating Olivia Munn. They didn't like her. And he said, fuck off, this is who I love. So...
Right, but like, that's just another thing to add to him being a diva. Like, I don't care if that's it's probably the right decision. Like, I agree with that, but like, Drew Brees hasn't done that. And like, a lot of football fans are more like Republican, like family first kind of thing.
That's true. So, I think a lot of things that have happened in his life he's always been doubted early in his career and everything, and just, with the whole thing with the Packers and McCarthy and Ted Thompson not building around him and wasting his talent, and then all this other bullshit painting him as a diva and a bad guy. And I just honestly, I don't want to sound like I'm saying this because I'm a Packers fan, but I feel so bad for the guy because he's not like a big face voice in the media. He doesn't talk a lot. Like he's just now he's like a crotchety old guy who's pissed that he hasn't won more, and he's getting blasted on like every fucking talk show all the time for it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But back to the Vikings game.
Yeah, right, let's transition back. I don't really have too much to say else, but do you want to apologize for calling out Jimmy G during our preseason podcast? Or no? No, not at
all? No. What happened in the game, Dan?
He threw one pick. It wasn't that.
He threw one pick, and then he almost threw two more, and then they ran the ball 8 times in a row starting the second half.
Right.
How many times did he throw the ball in the second half? Not a lot.
Yeah, but you called out him, like, them signing a huge deal for Jimmy G, and, like, he's still the quarterback. Like, he's won them some games. There was that Cardinal game, like, a Thursday Night Football in the middle of the year.
I didn't say he was bad. I just did not think he was
back then
funny.
You kind of said he was bad, or he didn't deserve the money because he's unproven.
He played 5 games, and they gave him the biggest contract in the history of the NFL.
7? Pretty sure? He was 7-0. He had the 2 games with the Pats and then the 5 games
I'm sorry, he played 7 games.
But, like,
wow.
I just think finding a competent quarterback is so hard in the NFL that, like, they just found one.
It is, but I view him the same way that almost the same way I view Tom Brady. Like, when you have, like, this coach who, I mean, honestly, Kyle Shanahan might be the best coach in the league right now.
Yeah.
You could argue
it, yeah.
Tons of people could argue it, too. For years, Tom Brady, best coach in the league. And I'm, again, tired of hearing all the people who said that Tom Brady never played with talent. He played with the best tight end to ever play the game. He played with one of the best slot receivers to ever play the game. He, got to play under the best coach to ever play in the league. He got to play under, like, probably the second best receiver to ever play in the game. Like, but you have this team that has so much talent everywhere else and a 3-headed monster in the run game, which is what they do like 80% of the time, is just run the ball.
Yeah.
They just need Jimmy G to manage the game and not fuck up, and it makes him look great. But, like, he wasn't pressured during that game, and when he was, he almost threw interceptions. And I can't wait to see how the game is going to go against the Packers, because Zarius and Preston Smith are on fire right now, and Kenny Clark.
Yeah.
And if they get to Jimmy G, he's going to fuck up. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I'm not saying he's like elite or he's a stud. I think he's just good. Like I don't see a big difference between him and like Kirk Cousins.
I see it more Dak Prescott. I was kind of surprised you didn't start with that. But
I mean, I don't see a huge difference between Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins. Dak Prescott can run a little bit more, but like Dak Prescott, I see with that, to me, I see Kirk Cousins and Jimmy G the same thing. They can't handle pressure well, and they make big mistakes. Kirk Cousins you see in big games. Jimmy G you see when he's being pressured as a quarterback. I see Dak Prescott more along the lines of like Teddy Bridgewater. You put a shit ton of talent around him, he's going to do well.
Right, but I don't know. Jimmy G's also, this is his like first full season as a quarterback, and he's playing in the conference championship. I know it's probably mostly the running game, and their defense is elite. Like, he's still doing it. Let's transition.
Yeah, Terry Bradshaw also won 4 Super Bowls.
Right, but
nobody ever puts him. He won 4 Super Bowls, Dan. Not a single person has ever said that Terry Bradshaw is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Well, because his stats aren't that great. Like, he had great teams.
Yeah, exactly. Jimmy G's stats aren't that great.
All right, whatever. Predictions for next week, because you kind of started going in with 49ers Packers. Who do you think comes out of that one?
If I had to bet on it, I'm gonna say it's the 49ers. Now, here's what I want to say to any Packers fans or anybody who think that this game is just going to be another blowout. I'm not feeling great about that D-line. I'm going to be real honest here. But they have Alan Lazard, they have constantly gone to in like quick slants, and he has been reliable in those quick slants. And Devontae Adams, who has the best first step of any receiver in the league right now. And that's not a debate. Talk to Chad Ochocinco, who was crying over it because it was so good. That's a real thing. You can go look that up.
I know.
Yeah, there's a video of Chad Ochocinco crying on Twitter because he was watching routes that Devontae Adams was running. He was like, "Yo, dude, this kid's special." Ooh. And Chad Ochocinco is known for his quick step.
Yeah.
But so here's my hope: if they don't try to establish a heavy run game early, because I love Aaron Jones, but they have such a huge, massive, unstoppable defensive line, and Aaron Jones, as good as he is, he's 5'9", and he gets swallowed up. It happened against the Seahawks, and it's going to happen if they try and do it against the 49ers again. They need to establish a short passing game very quickly, and that's how they're going to beat this team. The other thing is, again, Za'Darius and Preston Smith played out of their minds. Including also Aaron Rodgers played the best game of his career. The best game of the season on Sunday. So if he continues to stay dialed in, I feel good about this. But also, they have been absolute monsters. And if they can pressure Jimmy G, and if the quarterbacks can capitalize on it, I think they can create some turnovers that can help them win this game and make it close. And lastly, the one thing I want to say is I actually love that they got their butts whooped so hard earlier in the year, because there's nothing – what I've learned from sports more than anything is that the loser in a rematch always has the upper hand, because when you've gotten your ass kicked so hard – you can go back at that film, look at all the shit that you did wrong, and learn from it. Whereas the other team, they have absolutely no idea what to expect. So they have this whole wealth of knowledge of all of these different things with a team that was not ready to play, that had no energy coming out of that game, that they're going to play differently. At least what I hope. So they can go back and look at that tape. They have a million things that they can improve on and change and game plan for that. Whereas the 49ers, might not exactly know what to expect. So in that sense, I'm not counting the Packers out. I think it's going to be a lot closer than it was the first time. I think if they do win, I think it's exactly the way that I said it's going to be. It's going to be a short, death by 1,000 cuts passing game from Rodgers, and the defense is just going to make Jimmy G uncomfortable. And they got to stop the run, obviously.
Yeah. I think it'll be close. I just don't see the 49ers losing this game. Like you just said, they have such a good defensive 7. Plus, you have Richard Sherman just owning one side of the field. Granted, he just plays on that one side, but he still owns that half. So you never have to blitz, and like you pretty much have like 75% of the field covered. So I know it's Aaron Rodgers and he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but like I just don't see around it. But I do get your point on how like they got blown out. Like you can go back to tape and you could see like what they did right, and like the coaches could be like, okay, we did this wrong, do this right this way, and then they come out and they do that. But it's just like you have that defense with like Robert Salah as their DC, and then just like you have Mike Shanahan on offense, and it's just like like I know you could look at that film and you could see a lot of stuff, but like there's so much like misdirection and just like weird things that the 49ers do perfectly.
That's like, another thing too. I saw LaFleur in a press conference said that he got way too into his head going into that game and trying to predict what Robert Saleh was going to do instead of just playing their game.
Yeah.
So.
Well, hopefully he learns from his mistakes.
Hopefully he learns, because they're buddies. They, I think they were like roommates in camp somewhere together. I know that
13-year-old camp. They went to.
Well, I meant like training camp.
Yeah. I get your point.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the AFC. So it's Titans versus Chiefs. I'll start on this one. Like I just feel like I gotta pick the Titans. So like the Chiefs.
You want the Titans to win.
I want the Titans to win. Of course I do. But like, I just think the Chiefs. Chris Jones is still out, right?
I have no idea. That'd be huge.
Yeah. So like, I mean, he was injured. I don't think he didn't play this weekend. So if he's out again, like, how do you stop Derrick Henry at all? And then, so I was at the gym today too, as well as you were, even though you were sick as a dog. And I saw something on ESPN where it was like Derrick Henry, I think he averaged like 5 yards a carry against the Chiefs, just in general. So it's just like, and I know the Chiefs are doing much better on defense recently, but like you saw what Derrick Henry did to the Ravens. Like, I don't think the Chiefs are nearly on that level defensively.
Yeah, they can beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
But the only thing is that the Chiefs are built differently. So if they get a leg up, they got to keep running it. Like they can bleed the clock, but they need to just keep that lead, because that, when we saw on Sunday what that Chiefs offense can do.
Right.
You can, like, but
I also think
whoever it was, I think it was I can't remember. Somebody compared
Nate Burleson, right?
Yeah, Burleson compared the Chiefs offense to the Warriors, and that is so spot on, because like, you think you're doing well, and then like a minute goes by, and then it's like everything is just on fire out of nowhere.
I hate that take, because I didn't watch the halftime, and I thought of that, and then like I saw you tweet that out, and just saw that he said that, and I was like, God damn it! Like, I wish that was my original take, but like, it's so spot on. Like, they just score in a blink of an eye. But like, I think the Titans' defense is massively better than the Texans' defense, so I think they'll be able to control the game more. And like, I don't think the Titans can like they can come back. Maybe I don't really know, but like, you have AJ Brown at wide receiver. You still have Corey Davis at tight end, right?
I don't know why they don't go to AJ Brown a lot, and
I just think
he had 1,000-yard receiving season.
I just think the last 2 games it was like, we're just gonna pound the ball, and like, if they stop us, then we'll switch it up. But like, they haven't.
I even mean, like, in the season they don't target him a lot, but like, when he catches the ball, it's like a 70-yard run. Like,
it's wild.
He's an animal.
Yeah. All right, who do you got this game? It's hard. This game is very hard.
It's so hard. Like, if I had to bet, I'm not going to bet against what I just saw in the Chiefs. Like, if I had to bet, I would say the Chiefs are going to win after watching what they just did to the Texans. And I know the Texans don't have nearly as good of a defense, but like, that was bananas.
Yeah.
Mahomes is a young Aaron Rodgers, and I think Joe Burrow is going to be exactly the same thing. But Christ, dude, like I would love the Titans to win. I kind of have this weird scenario right now where I think obviously I want the Packers to end up in the Super Bowl, but no matter what situation I get, I am happy because we have the 4 matchups. I either get my Packers, I got Aaron Rodgers against Patrick Mahomes, which would be sick. Packers against the Titans, which I think they would have the best chance to win. And then the 49ers against Derrick Henry, which would be like,
oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Derrick Henry get through this?
Yeah.
And then the 49ers and the Chiefs, where it's like, okay, godly offense against an army of a defense. Like, let's see who comes out in this Thunderdome.
Right. I mean, another thing for Chiefs Packers, that's Super Bowl I. So, like,
yeah,
that also fell into the Twitter verse of just like, oh, this is rigged. Like, the Packers won that game because, like, they wanted to play the Chiefs. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, no, shut up. But, like,
I was hearing more of a, like, Allstate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That too, yeah.
Or State Farm.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the College Football Championship, which was truly wild. Joe Burrow defeated Trevor Lawrence 42-25 in a shootout. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch this game, and like Fritz wanted me to watch the highlights before this, and it was pretty crazy. So one thing I did see on like Twitter a little today, like Nick Wright from Fox Sports had a little thing where he doesn't think Joe Burrow is going to be great, and
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I like him.
If there's one person that I agree with more than anybody else, it's Nick Wright.
Well, because he's a LeBron lover. So
shut up.
Like check mark.
No, he is like he does the same thing that I do. Is he goes straight to like analytics. He talks more straight facts than anybody else I know in the league. Whereas other people are like, yeah, like he's also. I mean. He is biased, but like he's not like Skip Bayless. Where Skip Bayless just said that Kyler Murray's senior season at Oklahoma was better than Joe Burrow's 60 touchdown season.
Okay.
Like, okay, you went to Oklahoma, we get it.
That's a low bar to clear though for Nick Wright.
I know.
Like,
yeah, but I don't know. I have always been a very like logically thinking person. I go by numbers more than anything else, and that's what Nick Wright does. And Nick Wright, you can call him a LeBron lover. Nick Wright makes better arguments than any other analyst in the league. He'll come at you with a whole book report about why the thing that he thinks is right is right.
Yeah, very true. But like I watch these highlights, and the throws he's making are incredible.
Yeah.
I get the criticism, though, where he was, like, below average for 3 or 4 years, or whatever, however long he's been in college football. But, like, the Bengals can't... First off, they're not going to pass on him. That would just be ridiculous with his stats. Yeah. And, like, I also saw, like, I was following that, like, because I made some comments, and then, like, I know nothing about college football, so some guy, like, owned me. But the Bengals, they have John Ross, they have AJ Green if he gets healthy.
That. And Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, they have talent on their team.
They have, and Joe Mixon. Like, they yeah, so they have a great offense. Yeah. Like, you know, besides, I don't know how they're trash, but yeah, I'm sure it is. But, like, that was something that I was a little, you know, iffy about, because, you know, anybody listening, I don't watch college football. I have, like, been hearing things here and there, and actually this season I did watch a game or so just to see, you know, what all the hubbub was about, because, like, I mean, dude, there's so much talent coming up in this draft.
Right.
Like, with the receivers and the quarterbacks, there's not going to be, like, there's not going to be a team that doesn't have a good quarterback. Like, I mean that's a lot to say, but like it's going to be hard to find a team that doesn't have a good starting quarterback in the next couple of years because
I mean the Giants are one because they're probably
Daniel Jones isn't terrible.
He's okay.
I think he just needs to develop.
I guess, yeah. He's basically like if you insert Daniel Jones' name or like switch Daniel Jones' name with Josh Allen, it's basically the same falls. Like he fumbles too much and is a little erratic. And Daniel Jones is a much better passer than Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen wasn't good his first year, but then holy shit, he's improved so much.
Right.
The one thing that I do really like about Joe Burrow is, well, actually two things. They run like an NFL style offense where he does have to make like NFL level reads. So he's got that. He's got experience because he's an older player who was a transfer, and like when I see like a player make such leaps and bounds like that in 1 year, that just shows me their potential to grow under good coaching. Yeah. So as long as he gets good coach, he'll light this league up with that receiving core that the Bengals hopefully can retain.
Right. Now we'll see with that coaching though, because I'm very down on Sean McVay like a lot, and people can spout that they went to the Super Bowl, but they went to the Super Bowl because like the Saints got screwed.
I think it has. Dude, I wouldn't put so much onus on Sean McVay as I would just like Todd Gurley not being healthy.
Well, no, I mean it's also their offensive line. Like I'm kind of playing into it.
Their offensive line is trash. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not trash. They got hurt. Like they lost like 2 players for like at least 4 weeks or something.
So manufactured trash.
Yeah, I guess. But they had their centers like really. Oh, did he retire? I forgot that guy's name.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk about this game that much, or just Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence?
I mostly just want to talk about like what. I mean, first off, the game was insane.
Yeah, true.
Quick last thing on Joe Burrow. The only reason I think people might be skeptical about him going into the league is because, fuck, did you see like the receivers on that team? Dude.
Oh, they're nasty.
And then also Randy Moss's son as tight end.
Right, I didn't even know that. And then they showed that clip, and I was like, damn.
Man, they got guys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you got that to throw to, but he's also making great throws, and his pocket presence is like Rodgers or Mahomes-esque or Russell Wilson-esque. Like his accuracy throwing on the run and being able to sense pressure and escape from it and make plays with his feet is it reminds me of like prime Rodgers. Right. But yeah, no, the coming up into the draft. Oh no, so the game. Yeah. I don't know if they showed it in the highlights, but the starting middle linebacker and like the best player on the defense for Clemson got ejected.
Yeah, they showed that, but keep going.
Yeah. So same thing happened to like the best cover corner when Clemson played Ohio State. Mm-hmm. They need to change that rule. Like if you get called for targeting twice, okay, then we can talk ejection. But like a split second can knock somebody out of the game for like how many times do we see incidental helmet-to-helmet contact in the NFL? Every day.
A lot, yeah.
Every day. And it's most of the time it's like it's an accident and they get called for it and whatever. I get it if you like lead with your head, which I've never understood how players can do that. And like try and like smash somebody else's head. Okay, I get it. But like it's too common of a thing to happen accidentally, especially when people are constantly changing levels and you can't tackle people in certain places. You have to hit them right in the middle, and then they're going to lower their level, and then you're going to hit them in the head in like a split second. Like,
yeah,
a person cannot react that quickly to somebody else's reaction when they're moving that fast. It's gonna happen, and that player being taken out was such a blow to their momentum. Right after that, they like you could just see that their defense just like basically gave up.
Yeah.
And
I mean, middle linebacker, that's pretty much your quarterback.
That's the that's the captain of your defense.
Exactly. So, all right, let's just move along because we kind of are a little over on time, and we're just gonna quickly wrap up with two awful stories. One in the NBA and then one in the baseball. So John Beilein, I think it was last week sometime. He called the Cavs players thugs, which is just outright egregious and should never happen, especially in the NBA. And I see him being a one-out almost. Just how bad this team is playing this year. Just like everything with Kevin Love too. It's just like
first hold. They're actually not doing that bad. They just beat the Nuggets.
Oh, okay, never mind. But I'm just saying, like from that standpoint, like you can't be a leader of men and say shit like that.
I mean that's also true. There's dysfunction in the locker room. Kevin Love does not want to be on the team, and they're trying to trade him. And I mean, good. I'm a Cavs fan, and good because they're. Who's the owner? Dan Gilbert.
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert, go fuck yourself for driving the greatest. I'm sorry if you disagree with me. The greatest player to ever play basketball out of your city twice because you said you could do it on your own.
All right.
And they were a dog shit team before he came there, and then he got there, and by the time he was his second year in his league, he was the best player in his league, and they went to the championship, and they lost, and then, you know what? He drove him out of Cleveland because he thought, for whatever reason, that they gave. I mean, I don't want to get into this because this is going to be like a
true
million-hour argument. But Dan Gilbert, you fucking pretentious douche, go fuck yourself and sell the team. Like him and James Dolan.
Sell the team. I like it.
Sell the fucking team.
Yeah.
Because right now, this is all about your fucking ego. The team you've done nothing for the team. You like Kyrie gone. Wiggins gone. Anthony Bennett bust. Like LeBron gone twice.
Well, okay, Wiggins, that's Kevin Love. Like you have Kevin Love, which was great.
And Kevin Love
with
is
LeBron.
Miserable. I understand.
Yeah. That. Okay, so one little thing. Gilbert, I think he's terrible. Like, I think he should sell the team. I totally agree on that point. LeBron leaving the second time was more for his family than anything. Like, now he's in LA. Like, Bronny gets to play for Sierra Canyon. Like, he did this for his family.
I understand that.
So, like, I don't think he really...
And Dan Gilbert also could have fought to have him back. And their team wasn't that bad. I know everybody was ripping that offense apart, but, like, the way that they built that team around him wasn't terrible. The only reason they couldn't win is because they were going up against 5 All-Stars.
And they also don't...
Holy shit,
they don't play good 3 defense, though. Like, from the perimeter.
Breaking news. Luke Kuekly just retired.
Do you really?
What? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That's wild. Why? Was he hurt this year? He was hurt this year, right?
Dude, he's only played for 8 years.
Yeah, but he had like a really bad concussion, right? Or something?
He has had some concussions, yeah.
Luke Kuekly trending. Let's pull this up. Oh, wow. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Good for him. I don't know. I kind of like when people retire early. Like Gronk, I liked retiring early, even though I think he's a fucking douchebag for almost destroying Trey White's back. Who also, Trey White.
Dude, I was there.
First team All-Pro. Let's go.
I saw that live. Yo, Trey White's a beast,
Yeah.
I saw that live.
Fuck Gronk. Like, I was such a Gronk fan until that happened, and because, like, I love Trey White and everything he's about. So, anyways, wrap that up with John Beilein. He sucks. Fuck him.
Yeah, like...
Should get fired.
That's such a fucking, like, Joe Biden... I don't think he, like... I don't know.
Senior moment kind of thing.
I think it was... I don't think he was trying to be racist. You know?
No, not at all.
I think he was just talking about, like, how the team is dysfunctional, and there's just a generational gap, and he was like, he didn't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem like one of those.
So I don't really believe the, like...
I'm not going to give him a pass on it.
Yeah, no.
That's for sure. Like, don't say that. That's bad.
Yeah.
Horrible. And your team is not going to rally around you after you say something like that.
Not at all. I don't really believe him because he came out and he said that he meant to say slugs because they're playing slow. Like, no, you didn't. Like, it was just a slip of the tongue, and I think you're older and you probably think that's not as bad as what you're saying because you're just from a different generation. So, but it is. So.
You know what I always thought was hilarious? I know a little, like, quick tangent, but do you remember when people were calling Richard Sherman a thug?
Yeah, that's fucking awful. That's why I rooted for them that Super Bowl year.
Like, Richard Sherman was a 4.0 student.
Have you heard him talk? He's so smart. He's ridiculously
at
smart.
Stanford.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But also, no, I don't want to call anybody a thug. But, like, I mean, anybody who knows me knows I'm, like, the most left-wing person you could possibly get at. But, like, you're going to call Richard Sherman a thug when you have Marshawn Lynch right on the other side of the line of scrimmage. Marshawn Lynch straight out of, like, the worst neighborhoods of Oakland, who just goes straight back there.
Yeah.
You can, like, we all know that Marshawn Lynch has probably seen some shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a overreaction of the comments he made after the game, which, like, first off, he just made the biggest play of his career at that point, so he gets to deserve to say whatever the fuck he wants at that moment. And then, like, most of this problem was because, like, I think it was, like, Boston media, of course, of all medias, they said, like, the name thug, like, 400 times in an hour or something. And it's basically the equivalent of the N-word these days, which is it's just awful. All right, and I'm just going to give like 2 minutes to this one thing, because it's kind of big, and I don't really pay attention to baseball, but I found this out. So the Astros cheating scandal of how it was super complicated and very like analytical, which I kind of digged, but still terrible because they cheated. Was they took the cameras from like center field, found the signals that the catchers were using for the pitchers, and then would bang on the trash cans to like so that like Jose Altuve would know like, oh, there's a changeup coming. So then
didn't they get caught because one of the guys was bragging about it?
Probably, I don't know.
That's what I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure somebody just like came forward and like yeah, we fucking did that.
It had to be some like stat guy, because I could see that happening. But it's awful. Like, they won the World Series because of this. And
it is.
Like, good job firing their coach and their GM for doing this. But like,
but like the fact that they were only suspended for a year, like Pete Rose got banned for life for betting on baseball while he was playing.
Yeah. Like,
these guys cheated their way to a World Series championship. I don't think it would be extreme to strip their rings. Like,
oh no, not at all. That'd be totally fine.
They cheated. They fucking cheated. Like, they don't deserve it.
It's worse than Spygate. It's worse than Pete Rose. I don't know other cheaters, but this is like you're stealing signals and relaying it like in
when
moment.
The sport is like 90% pitching.
Yeah, exactly.
And home run hitting. Like, if you know what pitch is coming, I mean, I don't know how the fuck they do it, because, like, Christ. But, like, if you know what's coming, like, you're going to be able to hit it. Like,
it's such an advantage. It's ridiculous. So,
like, I love that they were fired, but they should, I think they should have been banned for life. Like, I
mean, we'll see. This is still pretty new, right? This is, like, a couple days old. So they could.
I know, but that's something they've talked about and like Undisputed about, like, how, Belichick and Tom Brady and all of their scandals and stuff, how they've gotten, like, 4-week slap on the wrist. Guess what? They did it again, and then they did it again, and then they did it again. Like, like, they got caught when Mangini came forward. They were doing it a long time before that.
Yeah.
So, if you don't want people to cheat in your league, you need to make the punishment so bad that nobody even considers it.
Yeah,
like,
the thing with
ban them for life, strip their rings. I don't care. Like, they fucking cheated. They do not deserve to call themselves champions. I mean, you can make an argument about Barry Bonds, with the steroids, but, like, fucking, like, so many people were using steroids, and even without them, he would still be hitting homers. And everybody and their mother puts an asterisk next to his name in the Hall of Fame. But, like, this is different. This is...
Like, they won a title, too. Yeah, Barry Bonds didn't win a title. So... it's awful. Like, I think it's the worst cheating scandal that I've heard of.
If you don't want to see cheating in your league anymore, you need to be like shock people at how badly you're going to punish these people.
Yeah.
Not just here. You're out of the league for a year, and then maybe you could come back and get hired by somebody else.
Right.
Like if they hadn't been fired, they could just fucking come back and do it again. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Who's stopping them?
I agree completely. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you, Fritz, for coming on and defending your Packers. So we've been actually getting some, at least looking at the stats, like, decent amount of people are watching. I wouldn't say a ton, but if anyone has some mailbag questions, you can email at snowflakesportspod@gmail.com. If anyone wants to send some questions, some dick pics, I don't really care. But feel free to
totally talk about them.
Yeah. All right. Well, Fritz, thanks for coming on, and I will be rooting for your Packers.
Oh, I fucking hope so, man. Yeah. I'm gonna be having anxiety for 3.5 hours straight.
Oh, I cannot. I had anxiety the wild card game for the Bills. Like, I cannot understand what you're going through.
Are you on that bandwagon, right? I mean, not bandwagon, but like that, cry wagon of everybody saying that, like, the Bills could have hosted an AFC Championship game?
I mean, I don't see them beating the Chiefs, so no.
Yeah, exactly.
Not at all. All right, well, thank you for listening, and have a good night.